Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We got a lot to cover on this MAGA Monday, and of course, this is a holiday week because the 4th of July, American Independence Day, is on Friday. So it's a big holiday week. But there's no holidays in this business, and we'll be here with you all week. Okay, so we got a lot to cover. And I'm going to start with Zohran Zorro, this Democrat that beat Cuomo in the New York mayor's race primary last week. He has destroyed his political career faster than any Democrat in history, okay? This guy... You know, he won last week in that primary for a few small reasons, Zohran. One, they had a low voter turnout, just 9% voter turnout in the primary. Two, no one was following the race. Three, no one heard of this guy or knew anything about him except his little cult of fanatics that showed up among that 9% on primary day. So he won by accident. And the next morning, after the primary last week, Wednesday morning, it seemed like this guy was going to be the mayor of New York City. And then Thursday and Friday come around, and oh boy, the truth is coming out about him. He wants to raise taxes on white people. He's a communist who wants to seize control of the grocery stores of New York City and have them government run. And, of course, many other things came out. And, you know, there was a panic in New York City, and a major panic. And it's one of the few things that have been bipartisan in this country. In fact, the last time I can remember bipartisan support like this was like September 12th. And Republicans and Democrats came together and said, this guy, we can't let this guy be mayor. He got lucky. He slipped in under our radar. No one was following the race. So Republicans and Democrats, except Curtis Sliwa, but all other Republicans and the Democrats have come together to make sure that Zorro here does not become the mayor of New York City. And Kristen Welker, the hostess of Meet the Press, had Zohran on yesterday. I'm going to play some of the clips of it. This is the interview, and I got some other clips of him too, but I'm going to start with a clip of him. And the president has weighed in on Zorro. Zohran has destroyed his political career with this Meet the Press interview. And it's an interesting thing because there's been a lot of talk the last couple of days that he is being mentored by President Obama. I read a story last night that he was at, there's this office, they call it the Obama War Room, that he's been spotted at a couple of times, where all the Obama staff have kind of like a government in exile at Obama's house in D.C., and I saw a story that Zohran had been seen there several times, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, now Kristen Welker, the hostess of Meet the Press, has done what I don't know if I've ever seen her do: take down a Democrat and totally destroy their political dreams, hopes, and credibility and electability. And she is in Barack Obama's inner circle. Now, I've mentioned this several times with Kristen Welker. I'll mention it again for those that don't know. Kristen Welker, the hostess of Meet the Press, she is so connected. When Barack Obama was president, Kristen Welker and her mom and dad spent the night at the White House, the Obama White House, on Christmas Eve, and spent Christmas morning with the Obama family, which is a big deal, not just because it was Christmas and Obama was president, but the girls, they weren't going around smoking big doobies like they do now and causing problems. They were little girls at the time. So Kristen Welker is very in with Barack Obama. Okay, and for someone so close to Barack Obama bring down Zorro here on Meet the Press yesterday, That is a little confusing. So is Kristen Welker doing the bidding of Obama, or has she gone rogue and broken free from Obama? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, as crazy as this statement will sound, I'd rather have Hillary Rodham Clinton as the mayor of New York City than Zorro here. Not that I want to have Hillary as the mayor, but if this guy becomes mayor, it's the first domino to fall. That would be just a tragic direction to take the United States in. One so devastating, that first domino may be the beginning of events that could never be reversed. And I know it seems crazy, but who would you rather have? Zorro as mayor or Hillary Clinton? Right. I know it's crazy to say that, isn't it? But it's true. I mean, let's be honest. And I know a lot of people say, well, Curtis Sliwa, he's the MAGA Republican. He's not electable. He's viewed as a clown in New York, okay? He's not going to win. So anyone that's pushing you towards supporting Curtis Sliwa because he's the Republican, either they are uninformed and stupid and self-destructive as a Republican, or they're fake MAGA or a liberal trying to create something for Curtis Sliwa. So as the show goes on today, after the first break, I'll get into some of the audio sound bites of Zorro, and I'll start with a clip from Meet the Press. Yesterday, I debuted a video on my YouTube channel. Saturday afternoon, I went to Alligator Alcatraz, which, I mean, it was an amazing video. So if you've not seen my Alligator Alcatraz documentary that I posted on YouTube Sunday, go and check that out today. I went out to lunch on Saturday with Dr. Appleton, our laser away pain doc. And we met like at 12:30. And by the time I got out of lunch, it was about 2-ish. And I was planning on going to Alligator Alcatraz. And I was like, well, I was going to go on Sunday morning. And then when I left the restaurant and had after lunch with Dr. Appleton, the weather was so nice. I said, I'm going to go to Alligator Alcatraz. And I came home and switched cars and took my old car because I didn't want to take my new car to Alligator Alcatraz. And let me tell you, Alligator Alcatraz, which President Trump will be visiting for the opening this week, Alligator Alcatraz is the most remote place I've ever been to in Florida. I've lived in Florida almost my entire life. I moved here when I was 10 or 11, and I've been coming here since I was 5 in 1976. And Alligator Alcatraz, and I've been all throughout Florida, is the most remote place I have ever been to in Florida. And if you've not seen my documentary visiting it on Saturday, go and check that out on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. It will blow your mind how remote and dangerous and deadly of a place this is. It was so far out in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty scary, actually. And it is more remote than even the original Alcatraz because, at least they could see the city. At least they could see the city. It is deep in the Everglades. In fact, when I was about 25 or 30, between 25 and 30 miles away from Alligator Alcatraz, I could see the planes flying into Miami International Airport. And that's where they fly over the Everglades and do their turn, about 25, 30 miles east of Alligator Alcatraz, east. So every plane crash that ever happened, like that Flight 401, the one they say has a ghost, all those planes that crashed flying into Miami in the Everglades crashed 30 or more miles east of Alligator Alcatraz. That's how deep in the Everglades it is. And what a beautiful idea, whose ever idea that was. So anyway, if you've not seen my documentary on Alligator Alcatraz, go and check that out. I got a call on Friday from Mike Lindell's office, and they have offered us, for Steve Kane listeners, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, the most incredible deal that you could imagine. Only one other outlet is offering this deal. A lot of people promote My Pillows, right? a lot of conservatives, a lot of MAGA people promote My Pillows. There's only one other outfit that has the offer that I'm going to share with you. And Mike Lindell's office, I talked to them on Friday. They made this available to you and our listening audience because you have been so loyal with your support of My Pillow since they've been sponsors of this program over the years. Listen to this. Free with any purchase. This is with any purchase you make. Free with any purchase, you get a free multi-use My Pillow 2.0. The 2.0 is the one that has the cooling technology, and it is the With God All Things Are Possible pillow. It's a $39.98 value. So if you bought this at My Pillow, it'd be $39.98. But you are getting the With God All Things Are Possible multi-use My Pillow 2.0 for free with any purchase at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It is a beautiful Christian pillow, and it says right on it, with God, all things are possible, which is from Matthew, and the verse is right there. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane. Again, that's with any purchase. You get the With God, All Things Are Possible multi-use My Pillow 2.0 with cooling technology for free. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right? Oh, man. I know, that is a great offer. And there are only, out of everyone that sells My Pillows, there's only one other person that they gave that special to. And I was very grateful they did. When they called me, and told me, I was like, that is awesome. Oh, yeah. It is a great deal. Yeah, it's with any purchase, guys. Okay. We'll be back shortly, and I'm going to get into the some of the audio sound bites of. Yeah, it's right. The Bible verse is mentioned. It's Matthew 19:26. Matthew 19:26 is with God all things are possible is where it comes from. I know, it's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, I told my wife to order me a new pair of slippers. You can never have enough of my slippers. Yeah, Zohan, Zorro, he's done. I mean, Kristen Welker. It's an interesting thing because Kristen Welker is so tight with Obama. Why would she take him down like that? Being so tight with Obama. Anyone got any ideas on that? It's a little crazy. I know, it's surprising. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. 30 seconds. Thank you, Vegas Bradley. Welcome back on this MAGA Monday. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll free, 1-888-465-2631. Okay, so let me get to start getting into some of this audio of Zohran Zorro here. The fastest fall of a politician I have ever seen. And not because of any sex scandal or something, or he got someone pregnant. People are just finding out who this guy is. And he's so radical that even left-wing Democrats like Kristen Welker, the hostess of Meet the Press and close personal friend of Barack Obama, are exposing him. So this first clip, this is from Meet the Press. Listen to this. This is Zohran with Kristen Welker yesterday, NBC's Meet the Press.
Went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes. And yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now, what we...
You know, this guy, he talks a lot and says jack, doesn't he? I mean, he just da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he says nothing.
We see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
All right.
Oh my goodness! So he's keeping on his website's platform taxing white people because they're white. That is illegal. Okay, that is illegal, and that's crazy. You know what it is with this guy? He's borderline millennial Gen Z, okay? And he's a kid. He's 33. He's he's kind of like on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial. And this is one of those guys who's been raised by parents where he can do no wrong. And he just, he thinks that he is the center of the universe. And he couldn't even take something back like that. No, we're going to keep that up there. It's unfair. White people need to be taxed more for equity. I remember Rush used to talk about, this was a long time ago because this is before Rush got cancer. I remember listening to Rush talk at the time. So this had to be 15 years ago or something. And Rush Limbaugh was talking about how the inequity of the tax system in New York. He says there were about 5 families supporting the whole city, like 5 uber rich families supporting the whole city. I don't know what that number is now, but if you go through New York and start telling white people that you're going to tax them at a higher rate just because they're white, you're done. And, as I was saying, this guy, Zorro here, he got where he is because no one knew who he was. He got lucky. And, a lot of times politicians get involved in scandals. This is a scandal-free guy other than his history and his background and his words and his website. People are just learning who he is. You know, liberals, they were in love with the idea of a Muslim mayor, right? That got them all excited. A young millennial Gen Z cusp Muslim mayor. They were in love with the idea of just the idea of it. But when it got down to it, you know, I mean, it's like these liberals, they're all into transgender and transgender. A biological man is transgendered into a woman. Now he's a woman until the Tinder date shows up, and the Tinder date's a guy with an address. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, no. Well, that's kind of like what happened with Zorro here. They were in love with the idea, or in lust, excited about the idea of a Muslim Gen Z millennial mayor. But when they find out what he's really about, they're like, no, this is too much. This is a video of him that just surfaced last night of him talking to, I don't know who, but this is Zorro right here. Listen.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists.
Really? And again, socialists are closeted communist, okay? A socialist is a communist in the closet. All right, back to Zorro.
We have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production.
Hear that? He's talking, I don't know what BDS is. What is BDS? But he wants to seize production? You're trying to tell me this guy's not a Marxist communist?
Yes, right? Or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue.
Yeah, seizing the means of production. Yeah, that worked out well for Mother Russia, didn't it? Oh, my goodness. Or Cuba.
The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized.
Wow, he wants to legalize prostitution. He wants to legalize sex workers. He wants to get more socialists elected, seize the means of production, and legalize prostitution. This is your guy.
And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them, and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
As individuals, yes. What about the collective? You seizing the means of production for yourself, Zohan? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to have to keep that clip permanently, because anytime I hear from someone who says he's not a communist, I'm going to have to play this seizing the means of production. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine over the weekend about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. And, one of their adult children had gotten a new roof from Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, and they're having the same thing done at their house here in Boca. And they were telling me what really impressed them is that, do you know in the state of Florida, 80% of people in Florida live in an HOA, a homeowners association, 80%. I know, right. And some of them are tyrants. I mean, they are hardcore. They're like really tyrannical. And what they were so impressed with, of course, one of their adult children got a new roof from Tom Laporta not too long ago. So they were impressed with the quality of the workmanship and everything else and the price, everything. The work was just amazing. But they have one of those Nazi-like HOAs. And they were telling me how Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing handled all of that. And it was really amazing because they can't get anything through their HOA, right? The HOA, they got one of those HOAs that's out there walking the neighborhood, measuring the blades of grass and all of that stuff. And Tom Laporta dealt directly with the HOA and got everything taken care of. They were blown away by that. And, you know, I've told Tom Laporta more than once, he's kind of like the Alan Dershowitz of HOA representation. HOAs are just awful. We all hate them. We all live in them. They're very confusing on how people get on the board. We let them abuse us because everyone's afraid to run for the board because if you run against those tyrants, they come and get you. But somehow Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing is able to deal with these people and negotiate with them and get everything taken care of. And they were so impressed, my friend, with what Tom did. Give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. Now, I'm going to give you his website, which is laportaroofing.com, and there's a phone number there, but that's for the office. That's not Tom's cell phone number. We give Tom Laporta's cell phone number out to our listeners. So write this down, 954-604-4602. And remember, he can handle every type of structure, a job of any size, no matter how, if there's a single-family home or a unit with over 300 units in it, he can handle that. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. You can call or text him, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Oh, man. That was... Zorro here is... You guys still want to stick with this? He's not a communist racket? Mm-hmm. He is, he's definitely, when you're talking about seizing the means of production, what other way is there to present that other than communist? How would you present that other than communist, right? If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Let's see here. I'll go to the phones when we get back, so if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back soon. Canada caved. I mean, they caved big time. This Connie, prime minister they have. You know, in America, being a carny is like the lowest thing you can be. The lowest of the low. Mm-hmm. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be back in a little over a minute. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Mm. 30 seconds. And we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. It is a MAGA Monday morning, 36 minutes after the hour. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig, and we're talking about Zorro, whose political career was just destroyed faster than any political career that I've ever seen destroyed by someone who didn't get involved in some type of financial scandal, like finding gold bars in his closet that he took bribes with, or getting a campaign worker pregnant or something. This is just people saying, well, this is what he believes. These are just his platforms from his campaign website that have ended his career, and, of course, these interviews. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. How you doing today?
All right. Richie the bus driver, what's up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to say something. I'm not trying to disagree, but because I'm 100% behind you and listen and agree with you, okay? But I don't think I don't think the people, I think the normal people in this country see what this guy is all about in New York, this Muslim, crazy Muslim. I'm going to tell you right now, I predict he's going to win, and everyone's going to get upset.
Well, at this point, we got a 50-50 chance. But Kristen Welker, this is a very important point. If it wasn't for the Kristen Welker interview, I wouldn't be talking this way. Meet the Press, right? She's with the Obamas, and I've only played one clip. I have 5 or 6 I'm going to play. She destroyed, just from Meet the Press, she destroyed him yesterday. She brought him on Meet the Press to destroy him, not to promote him. She could have danced all over these things, and she didn't. And for someone, for a liberal to do what she did on Meet the Press, shows he's done.
I don't know, and I'm going to say why. Let me ask you a question. This is why I see what I saw yesterday. To me, capped everything. Now, it's to do with this guy getting elected in New York. You know the Thanksgiving Day parade, how big that is in New York, and it's televised?
Yeah.
I just went through YouTube yesterday, and as I was going through, it said live gay pride parade.
Yeah, I saw. You're talking about with Zohran with what's her name, the corrupt Attorney General Letitia James. Yeah, I saw that. Everybody saw that.
Yeah, the whole ABC New York was covering it like they do the
and not only was Zohran in the gay parade, he was dancing in an unmanly fashion.
But there were thousands and thousands of people broadcasted by ABC, and a couple of the people, the anchors that you see every day on ABC, like the morning shows at news. I forgot his name. He says, thank God for these people because they're the reason I came out. The guy on the other end was the same thing. Their commercials were sexualized with men. Yeah. Kissing men. I mean, and this was ABC local news. I
saw it. I saw it. Everybody saw it. See, I like I told you, Richie, I would not be so firm on this if it wasn't for Kristen Welker, who did the takedown yesterday, right? If this was just us talking about it, Kristen Welker brings Democrats on to promote them, not tear them down like this. And she hit him on his most vulnerable stories right now.
100% you're right, but she's normal, and most of the Democratic Party outside of New York City are normal. You're dealing with a different animal. These people are nuts. And on top of that,
the whole story that's been about him the last couple of days is that Obama is his mentor. There was a story yesterday that he had been to Obama's D.C. house on multiple occasions. They have what they call the Obama War Room and to strategize. Kristen Welker is one of the Obama people. She's one of the people closest to Obama. And for a top Obama person to expose him yesterday, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. All right, Richie, I appreciate it. Richie's always doom and gloom. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name?
Hello.
Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Brad from Las Vegas.
All right, Vegas, what's up?
How do we allow socialists in America? Shouldn't this be illegal?
No, it's a free country. It's a free country. You can be whatever you want to be as long as you're not hurting other people. You can be a socialist, a prohibitionist, you can even be a Democrat.
But communism and socialism are our State Department's enemies across the world, but we're allowing it in here in our country.
Well, it's a free country. If you outlawed the socialist, why not outlaw the MAGA movement while you're at it? I mean, you can't just outlaw because you can't do that.
In a sense, they have outlawed us. I mean,
no, they haven't. We're in the what are you talking about? Have you been in a coma? Have you been incarcerated? Our MAGA president was just reelected. We've got a MAGA Congress. The big beautiful bills going through. The border's been shut down. No illegals got through last month, and President Trump's about to make a trade deal on tariffs with every nation in the world in a few days. So what are you talking about?
I am full-blooded MAGA, sir, but the Democrats do not allow anything to go through Congress. Everything.
What are you talking about? The big beautiful bill passed in the House and the Senate. Now they're in reconciliation. They're going to pass the whole thing to go to the president. You're like Richie, the bus driver. Yeah, you've been a Republican a long time, right?
Yes, the grand old party, which must change to MAGA.
So you were like a Newt Gingrich and Reagan conservative and all that. I can tell, right?
Reagan, somewhat, yes.
Okay.
Not Newt
See,
Gingrich.
this is a lot of the. Okay, hold on. It's not. I don't need the bio. See, a lot of time people forget. What it was like to be a Republican before Trump came down the escalator. But to be a Republican before Trump, we were always losing. Our people never stood up to anything. They made us a bunch of promises, none of which they ever intended on keeping. So a lot of older Republicans like you, Brad in Vegas here, Richie the bus driver, you've got that loser mentality of the 90s and early 2000s of being a Republican, not the modern MAGA wave where our president that they tried to put in. I mean, think about it. They shot President Trump to stop him from doing what he's doing. They tried to do it again. If President Trump would not have been reelected, he would be in prison right now. If he would not have beaten Kamala Harris, Judge Merchan in New York would have put Trump in prison. So to say that we're not winning is you're just a loser who thinks like a loser.
Well, I'm not saying we're not winning, but
no,
the
you
Democrats. Did. Okay, after Trump, what will the Democrats allow us to do?
What do you mean allow? We're got look at this bench we have. We've got the great Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, right? Pete Hegseth and more. Who do they got? Zorro and AOC. Stop thinking like a loser. We're in charge now. We have a winning movement, not a loser movement. All right, appreciate the call. Now, I want to tell you guys, this is a rare thing that I'm doing. Not just me, but Attorney Barry Siegel. On Saturday, July 19th, come and meet me from 10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. This is Saturday, July 19th, for the Medicaid seminar at the main office of the Siegel Law Group in Boca. All right? What's very rare about it is I cannot remember the last time I did a Saturday appearance. These don't come around very often. I mean, like every decade or even longer. Usually we do them during the week. So this is a Saturday appearance for me, and Barry doesn't do a lot on Saturdays either. But listen, it's completely free, this Medicaid seminar, and I do hope that you come out to see me. This is Saturday, July 19th at the main office of the Siegel Law Group. I'm going to give you the number for the Siegel Law Group. You got to call and reserve your spot. They have very limited seating because it's at the Siegel Law Group's office. So give them a call. Tell them you're coming. It's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., July 19th. Come meet me, Brian Craig, for Attorney Barry Siegel's Medicaid seminar. The number's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Again, that's 855-FLA-3782. Call, make your reservations. It's 100% free, and they'll give you the directions when you call. And I'll see you Saturday, July 19th at 10 a.m. We'll be right back. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Yes. Welcome, everyone. I'll get back to these sound bites of Zorro here when we get back. Yeah, a lot of, I get it why they feel like losers a lot, some of the older Republicans, because that's what it used to be like to be a Republican. Republicans were always apologizing, trying to get Democrats to be our friends and all this crap. It doesn't work. We're not interested in that. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subbed, please like the video. Oh, boy. We'll be back shortly. Let's see. We'll be back in 1 minute. Well, thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. Oh, man. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Okay, so over the weekend, Zohran here in New York's political career was over. I've been going through that. This video of him just popped up. See, and I'm telling you guys, he only won low voter turnout. Nobody knew who he was or was following him. And all these things, what makes these things so powerful is they're almost all of them are him in his own words, whether it's this Meet the Press interview or his raising taxes on white people that he has on his website, or this video of him talking to his constituents.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists.
Oh.
And we have to ensure that...
By the way, can we now can now everyone agree that Joe McCarthy was right?
We are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right?
What's BDS? I asked this earlier. What is BDS? Does anyone know what that is? I'm not sure what BDS is.
There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right? Or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production.
The end goal of seizing the means of production, it does not get any more commie than that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Wow. First I want to say that trip you took, man, I've never thought it was Florida had so much empty space like that. They're going to have a hard time getting correction officers who want to work there because what is it going to take an hour to go to work?
Oh, you're talking about Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligator Alcatraz, yeah, man. That was unbelievable. I mean, your car breaks down and you're stuck. I don't know how anybody. You said there's no cell phone service either.
You know, this documentary I made going to Alligator Alcatraz. That was Saturday afternoon. I left at 2:30 in the afternoon, and you know all these. And by the way, no one else has done what I did. Okay, I know there have been news crews there on the site. There have been no one has shown you exactly how remote it is, okay? Everybody's been rehashing the same aerial footage that the Attorney General of Florida put out. And if I would have known how remote it was, I probably would not have gone Saturday because it was kind of late in the day to go that deep into the Florida Everglades. But and I had no cell signal. But I have a walkie-talkie I could communicate with my wife with, so I wasn't, so we could communicate by walkie-talkie. But the remoteness of Alligator Alcatraz, you really get to see it in my little documentary there.
Oh yeah, man! Without that walkie-talkie, I wouldn't go because if you can't call service to help you, you break down, you get eaten. I was like, holy mackerel! How are they gonna get people that want to come there? Nobody's gonna want to go visit. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've got this walkie-talkie I have works globally. It works everywhere in the world.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
well, they're gonna have to put cell phone service there soon because even anybody working there, it's dangerous not to have connection.
Oh my goodness!
The last thing I want to say is this: Zohran, this communist guy, I can't believe New Yorkers could go from Rudy Giuliani to this guy. So I think this guy has slim to no chance for getting in. I don't think anybody could.
It's important to understand. Meet the Press does not tear down Democrats. You got to understand that.
Yeah.
And Kristen Welker, the host of Meet the Press, is an Obama disciple. She's in Obama's inner circle. She's one of his top media people. So what she did was with the either the direct order by President Obama or his blessing through a surrogate. She didn't just go rogue and bring down Zorro here without Obama okaying it.
Yeah, who could like this guy? I mean, I can't see any. I know there's communists in this country, but there's very few.
I've only gotten. I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Wait till you hear the other clips I'm going to play after the top of the hour. That's nothing yet. I started with the least.
Wow. Well, I think, he's a good talker. I can tell you that much. He knows how to talk, but what he says is ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. New York is not going to accept it.
Well, he said his ultimate goal is to seize the means of production.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
This guy's insane. Insane. I don't know who could want to follow me. I guess if you have no money and you're on welfare or something, maybe you can vote for this guy. But other than that, nobody's going to like this. This guy is trying to wreck the country. Yep,
that's right. Even the Muslims don't like him. Wait till you get to this. He's got the Muslims after him, too. They don't like him either, which will shock you. I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, take care, Doug. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
You know, Brianne, you are really incredibly stupid. You have to pronounce the man's name correctly, for one. That's the first thing.
Hold on 1 second. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Whose name am I mispronouncing? Whose name am I mispronouncing? Zorro?
Mr. Mamdani. Yeah, Zorro.
Zorro.
His name is Zohran. Zohran. The H is silent.
Zorro. Zorro. Okay, Zorro. You know, when I say Zorro or Zohran, you know who I'm talking about.
You're mispronouncing his name on purpose, Brianne.
Mm.
You need to say his name right, Brianne.
Let me ask you, using the feminine version of Brian, does that make your attractions to me seem less gay to you or something?
No, it makes you what you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would be wrong? Which is that? What am I?
Gender. The other thing is BDS stands for boycott, divestment, and sanctions.
Okay, slow down. You said I'm transgender? Why would that be an insult? Why are you calling me transgender? Why would that be an insult? As a liberal, why would someone being transgender be an insult? Shouldn't that elevate my status in your circles?
No, it's just an insult.
Why is it an insult to be transgender?
Because you are.
Okay, what's BDS stand for?
Boycott, divestment, and sanctions.
Of what?
Idiot.
What does that, of what? Boycott and...
Israel.
Oh, so it's an anti-Israel statement. Okay.
Dumb, man.
Okay, all right, take care, Renee. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, is this Brian? This is Dave calling from Arkansas. How's it going?
All right, Dave from Arkansas. What's on your mind?
Well, Brian, I got to say that I love your political commentary, but I've always wanted to know, how is it that you do the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants on the television show? That's always been so impressive to me.
Yeah? Are people supposed to laugh, or was there supposed to be a dramatic pause there?
Well, it was a question. Usually when somebody asks a question, you give an answer to it, but
it sounds like you're trying to make a joke, and it kind of fell flat.
No, it was a question.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Don't you usually answer questions on your show?
No, I'm not. No. I'm not here to answer stupid questions. Now, if you want to have an interesting discussion about Zorro in New York or something, I'm all for that, but I'm not here just to answer your stupid questions.
Will you say, Mr. Krabs, can we have a debate about Zohran in New York?
Let me tell you something about humor. Excuse me. I know a little bit about humor, all right, and jokes. When you tell a joke, when you're, like if you're publicly telling a joke, and you tell a joke and it falls flat and no one laughs, move on and drop that joke. Don't try to retell it again. You tried to tell it again in a different way. It fell flat worse the second time than the first. All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. Gee whiz. All right. We'll be taking our break for the top of the hour shortly. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. I found over the weekend, I sent this to Steve and his wife. Someone is selling a Steve Kane autographed baseball card on eBay for $19.95. Now, it was made out to someone named Mike. So I guess it's only going for $19.95 because it's personalized. But yeah, you can look up Steve Kane on eBay. Someone's selling a Steve Kane autograph for just under $20. I could sell them for cheaper and get them for you all the time. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be back right after this. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Oh, I just dropped my headphones. These are my good headphones, too. Hold on, let me cue some stuff up. Now listen, if you're 65 or older or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call about your Medicare. Let me tell you, Chapter, no matter which one of the 50 states you're in, they can help you with your Medicare. They work with every company out there when it comes to Medicare. In fact, there's over 24,000 plans. When you call the number, which is in the description of the video and on the screen, I'm going to give you the number out loud in just a moment. You're going to get a live person who will be able to answer all your Medicare questions. Make sure that you're not paying too much for that Medicare supplement. Make sure that your prescriptions and doctors are covered. You know, giving them a call, which is completely free and cost you nothing to get their help, could save you thousands and thousands of dollars. Again, no matter what one of the 50 states you are in, Chapter can help. 805-754-3033. The number is in the description of the video as well. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. Get free help with your Medicare, all right? They're a good company. Okay. Welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. All right, just to recap, then I'm going to get to more of the audio. Zohran, or Zora, whichever is the correct way to pronounce this guy's name, his political career ended over the weekend. He was brought down by very liberal Obama Inner Circle member Kristen Welker, the hostess of Meet the Press. And Kristen Welker, she brought Zohran on and just filleted him on all of the controversial issues. And for her to do this at all is unheard of. Meet the Press doesn't take down liberals. They take down Republicans with slanders. She brought down Zorro here with his own words. Never seen her do this to a Democrat before. And there's, as I was telling a caller in the first hour, as close and as tight and as senior as Kristen Welker is in the Obama circles, and she is, she did not do this without his approval or order to actually do it. And it looks like they want Zorro out of the race real quick. They don't want him to gain any more momentum. So I want to go through, and I've got more than the Meet the Press clips, but I want to go through Meet the Press And he's got big problems with the Muslims, too, which you'll hear in a few minutes. But let me go through this. Now, this is the first clip. We'll just go through them as we go.
You've proposed increasing taxes on wealthier New Yorkers. The Democratic governor, though, of your state, Kathy Hochul, says she's not going to support increasing taxes in order to get it across the finish line. I want to let you take a listen to a little bit of what she had to say recently and respond on the other side. Here she is.
I'm not raising taxes on people at a time when affordability is the big issue. I'm actually cutting middle-class taxes. Even on the wealthy. I don't want to lose any more people to go to Palm Beach. We've lost enough.
That's right.
How are you going to raise taxes if you can't get Democrats to support it?
So I think what we've shown over the last 8 months is our ability to take that which is considered a non-starter and make it seem inevitable. We've shown that with the...
Is he another fast talker? He talks almost... He's a sober version of Kamala. We take what's impossible and make it inevitable, whatever.
Campaign. And ultimately, we're seeing that our vision to tax the top 1% of New Yorkers, these are New Yorkers who make $1 million a year or more, and our proposal is to just tax them by 2% additional, is something that has broad support and will continue to increase that support over the next few months and years.
So you think you're going to be able to twist Governor Hochul's arm and get her to support raising taxes? I mean, what about the fact that she says she's concerned New Yorkers might leave? They might go to Florida.
I think it's time for a leadership that doesn't twist arms, but rather builds partnership. And I'm looking forward to having
more
that with the
gobbledygook.
governor, because ultimately my policies, my vision, it's driven by an assessment of what's actually happening. The Fiscal Policy Institute found that the top 1% of New Yorkers leave at 1/4 the rate of other income groups. And when they do leave, it's actually to other states considered high tax, New Jersey, California. So it's not fiscal policy, it's quality of life. And ultimately, the reason I want to increase these taxes on the top 1%, the most profitable corporations, is to increase quality of life for everyone, including those who are going to be taxed.
Okay, that's clip one. Here he is talking about taking over the grocery stores.
Here's how the Washington Post editorial board wrote about your proposals. They say a massive minimum wage would depress low-skilled employment. His rent freeze would reduce the housing supply and decrease its quality. Cutting bus fares would leave a transit funding hole that, unless somehow filled, would erode service. Meanwhile, the
And by the way, this is a liberal woman reading from, Kristen Welker, Meet the Press, reading from the liberal Washington Post, which shows you that there's a hardcore Democrat coordination to stop Zorro from gaining momentum.
Grocery business operates on thin margins, and his plan for city-run stores would probably lead to fewer options, poor service, and shortages. Mr. Mamdani, are your proposals going to hurt the very people you're trying to help?
Not at all. There have been many in editorial board who have had concerns, and what we've shown is that more than 400,000 New Yorkers are excited about this vision. And the reason they're excited about it is one that is in line with the scale of the crisis in this city. I mean, we are talking about our tax base growing smaller and smaller each day, with New Yorkers leaving to New Jersey, to Pennsylvania, to Connecticut. If we do not...
I like how he doesn't think any of them are coming to New York, coming to Florida. We have more New Yorkers here than in New York, probably.
Meet this moment, we will lose this city. And our proposals are ones that are thought out. They are ones that are also clearly going to be funded by these revenue streams. I'll give you an example. When we talk about grocery stores, I've put forward a proposal for a pilot of one grocery store in each borough. These are 5 grocery stores that would cost $60 million in a city budget of more than $113 billion. And ultimately, the reason that we are so excited by them is we've seen that they've worked in Kansas. We've seen that when a feasibility study was done in Chicago, it was shown to be something that was not only feasible, but pressing and urgent in an urban setting. And finally, it cost less than half of what the city's already set to spend on subsidizing corporate supermarkets without any guarantee of cheaper prices, any guarantee of collective bargaining agreements, or that they accept SNAP or WIC.
Well, you take me to my next question about grocery stores. Some executives, including one of the top grocery stores owners, billionaires, threatening to shut down his supermarket in the city. John Castamatidis, who runs Gristedes grocery chain. You're probably very familiar with him. He said this on Election Day, quote, "If the city of New York is going socialist, I will definitely close or sell or move or franchise the Gristedes locations." In order to run New York City successfully as mayor, do you not need the support of a billionaire businessman like John Castamatidis?
I don't know if I need his support specifically, but I want to make clear that my vision for this city is a vision for every single New Yorker, including business leaders across the city.
Yeah, seizing their businesses. I mean, this guy, Now, here she is asking him about raising the taxes on white people for being white.
We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes, and yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are.
Oh, okay. My racism is just how it is, right? Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I faked all my orgasms.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm sure the women would disagree. All right, now this is him. If you're on hold, stand by. We didn't even have to use the dump on that. I got it before we had to use the dump. This is Zorro here talking about billionaires. Listen to this.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because...
We shouldn't have billionaires. We shouldn't have billionaires. Well, what does that mean? We shouldn't have billionaires. Well, how do you accomplish that, Zorro? My goodness. And he laughs.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
See, there you go. That's Communism 101. Now, President Trump called him a communist. This is Zorro responding to the president.
Well, let me ask you about what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has had to say. He's had a lot to say about your campaign. He called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance to respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a communist?
No, I am not. And I have already had to start to get...
Wait a minute. He just said, and I'll play the clip after the next break, he wants to seize the means of production. He wants to make the grocery stores government grocery stores. And we shouldn't have billionaires. How's that not a communist?
Called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance to respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a communist?
No, I am not. And I have already had to start to get used to the fact that the president will talk about how I look, how I sound, where I'm from, who I am, ultimately because he wants to distract from what I'm fighting for. And I'm fighting for the very working people that he ran a campaign to empower that he has since then betrayed. And when we talk about my politics, you know, I call myself a democratic socialist in many ways inspired by the words of Dr. King from decades.
Yeah, back to Martin Luther King. Okay, so yeah, there we go. I mean, you know, he's not a communist, but he wants to turn the grocery stores of New York City into government grocery stores. We shouldn't have billionaires, and he wants to seize the means of production. It doesn't get more communist than that. Here he is talking about New York's sanctuary city status.
Let's talk about immigration, deportation. Are you committed to keeping New York as a sanctuary city?
Absolutely, because ultimately we've seen that this is a policy that has kept New Yorkers safe for decades. It's a policy that had previously been defended by Democrats and Republicans alike until the fear-mongering of this current mayor. And it's a policy that we've seen ensures that New Yorkers can get out of the shadows and into the full life of the city that they belong to.
Notice how he has defined illegals as New Yorkers. The illegal, they're no longer, they're not illegals, they're not migrants, they're now New Yorkers.
Well, you know, the border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is planning to deploy ICE agents to New York, worksite enforcement to essentially increase and enhance the number of ICE agents here. If that happens on your watch, how do you plan to handle it?
We have to stand up and fight back, and we haven't seen that from our current mayor, who has instead been working with the Trump administration to assist in their goal of building the single largest deportation force in American history. I mean, we saw ICE agents arrest a migrant at Federal Plaza, and then we saw NYPD officers arresting a pastor who was peacefully observing that arrest. Those days are going to come to an end when I'm the mayor.
Really, he's going to supersede federal agents. He's going to interrupt government business from the federal government. It sounds like Zorro here is talking about leading an insurrection against the federal government. Now, Mike Lindell at MyPillow, I talked to his office on Friday. They have given us the most incredible special that I think we've ever had. This is amazing. Right now at MyPillow.com, there's only, and again, this is important for you guys to understand. A lot of people advertise MyPillow. You guys know that, right? A lot of conservatives around America, they have promo codes like we do. Only one other person has this deal that we have, and it was offered to us by Mike Lindell himself, and this is incredible. Listen to this. Now, this is with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Free with any purchase. You'll get the With God, All Things Are Possible, which is right out of Matthew, the multi-use MyPillow 2.0, which has a $39.98 value. Now, the MyPillow 2.0 is the one with that special cover that has the temperature regulating technology that keeps you cool all night long. You'll never flip over the pillow looking for the cool side again. But this one's special because it has that passage from Matthew, with God, all things are possible. So free with any purchase, no matter what you buy, free with any purchase, the With God, All Things Are Possible multi-use MyPillow 2.0, a $39.98 value with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. It's a great deal, isn't it? It is exclusive, very, very exclusive. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. Okay. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. We'll be back in less than a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. Stand by. We've covered a lot. I'll take a call or two. We got so much more to cover. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick. What's up?
I just want to make a couple of quick comments. If Zohran doesn't want any billionaires, does that mean he's going to take George Soros' money away from him?
Yeah, right, in the form of campaign donations.
Right. And Barack Obama, who's on his way to becoming a billionaire, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And Bernie, right? Don't forget Bernie, he's on his way.
Mm-hmm.
And his beach houses, right?
That's right, yeah.
So I guess he's going to confiscate those.
Well, you know. Well, there's good billionaires and rich people and bad billionaires and rich people. The ones you named are the good ones.
Yeah, well, you know, the other thing I wanted to mention is that he's not going to become mayor of New York.
No.
It means too much money. You know, if he becomes mayor of New York, Wall Street will move to Miami.
Yeah, they will. They will.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, they will.
Hey,
all right, appreciate.
Have a great rest of the
all
show.
right, appreciate the call, Nick. And you know, I was talking about in the first hour. This really is a nonpartisan event that's going on to make sure that Zorro doesn't become mayor. All right, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Zach. I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, Zach, what's on your mind?
I just saw that the title of your video said he was out of the race for mayor, and I was confused.
Well, because you're liberal. Liberals are often confused. That Trump derangement syndrome makes it hard for liberal-minded people to think straight.
Is he out of the race?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, he came out over the weekend and doubled down on Meet the Press that he's going to make the grocery stores government grocery stores and raise taxes on white people. It's over. When you have Democrats who are calling him out on that on interviews, it's over.
Right.
Are you excited about that, or do you want this guy to be the mayor of New York City? Are you okay? Are you okay?
I just woke up. It's to make a pilot program for 5 grocery stores.
Yeah, a pilot program. And what's the pilot program testing out?
The pilot program is testing out to see if, rather than giving $140 million subsidizing or towards privately owned grocery stores.
What do you mean? How are privately owned grocery stores subsidized? Can you explain that to me? I'm not in the grocery store business. Maybe you can explain since you made the statement.
The New York City budget gives $140 million a year towards. I'm assuming if you're so upset about these ones that are going to be
towards what they give the grocery stores are subsidized for how much and how are they subsidized?
I don't know the particulars of how they.
Well, then you don't. Then you made. But you made the statement, so you don't know. You just said that you don't know. You know why would you not want?
You made the statement that he's out of the race when he's.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He is out of the race. It's over for him.
That's factually untrue.
No, it is factually accurate because a tape came out of him over the weekend on X that his ultimate goal is to seize the means of production. And millions of people have seen this. Okay? He said on Meet the Press yesterday he wants to raise taxes on white people. It's over for him. When you're taking these radical positions, it's over for you. Do you think there's a problem with taxing white people at a higher rate than non-white people? Is that an issue for you? Do you think that's right or wrong to do? He hung up. I did not hang up on him. So now here's another clip. This is from Meet the Press yesterday. This one's a doozy. Oh, my goodness. Listen to this.
I want to ask you about an issue that has divided some New Yorkers in recent weeks. You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada.
Now, the intifada is when the Muslims get together and start killing Jews, okay? That's the intifada, war against the Jews, wiping out Israel.
I want to ask you about an issue that has divided some New Yorkers in recent weeks. You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that, to have meaning, have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question and the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city.
No, he won't condemn calling for a global intifada against the Jews. He won't condemn the phrase.
I've heard those fears, and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime of speech. Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out that.
Then condemn it. Then condemn the language.
That bigotry. And ultimately we do that through the actions. And that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment.
Yeah, but he won't condemn global intifada.
Through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those.
So when he doesn't have an answer and he's getting creamed, he wants to talk about President Trump. If he injects Trump's name, it'll try to deflect away. This is what happens when a guy is not ready for prime time, right? He got in under the radar. No one was following. No one was paying attention. And then here he is in the big time on Meet the Press, and he's totally exposed by these liberals. He is out of this race, I'm here to tell you. Now, yesterday, when I went to day before yesterday, Saturday afternoon, when I went to Alligator Alcatraz, I went during the hottest time of the day. And if you saw my documentary there on my YouTube channel, I'm walking around out in that heat, out in the middle of nowhere, with only the protection of my MAGA hat, keeping the sun off of my head. And I had so much energy and handled the heat so well. And usually I shy away from the heat during these hottest times of the year because the heat gets to me. And the heat did not overwhelm me. And you know why that is? Because I lost all this weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh, man. You know, I can't believe how much better I am handling the heat since I lost over 35 pounds thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It's really amazing. I've been telling you, I've cut my caffeine intake by 50%. I feel better. I have more energy. But this was my first time out in the hot, hot Florida summer sun with no shade, and I didn't even realize it or notice it. I guess you don't get as hot when you don't have so much body fat. It's amazing. And right now, 4th of July week, the special at Coastal Weight Loss Secret is in effect. Listen to this. The July 4th sale, which is in effect today, 20% off for new patients. And no matter where you're located in the United States, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can call. So 20%, you can call them and they can help you. 20% off for new patients. It's the July 4th special. It ends on July 7th, so don't waste time. Give them a call. I'm going to give you the number to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. We'll be back shortly, guys. We'll be back in about a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Let me go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, I just want to comment on the definition that you're talking about, intifada, and you're saying that's the killing of Jews.
Yeah.
Muslims get together.
Oh yeah. Tell me what the global intifada is then.
A global intifada is to rise against the oppression of the Palestinian people.
Yeah. So, rise up against the Jews. Rise up against Israel.
No, it's not rise up against the Jews. It's rise up against the occupation force of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. What kind of accent do you have? What kind of accent is this?
Don't worry about the accent, but...
Well, really? What do you mean? I have an American accent. What kind of accent do you have?
What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
I'm from Colorado, by the way, okay?
You're from where? You're from where?
Colorado.
Colorado. This is not a Colorado accent.
Yeah, this is not a Colorado accent. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But I'm trying to correct you because you're brainwashing here, people.
This is just look this up online, okay? And we all know what global intifada means. Global intifada means rise up and wipe out Israel. But let's get to the dictionary definition with this Colorado man on the line. Listen to this. We all know what it means, but you're playing dumb. All right. But I just looked this. No. Excuse me. I'm reading to you this is a textbook definition.
The people that you're trying to brainwash doesn't know.
I'm not brainwashing it. I'm not trying to brainwash anyone. But listen to me for a second.
It looks like you're getting paid by AIPAC or something.
Oh, I'm getting paid by the Jews. Oh my goodness. There they go again. I'm getting paid by the Jews. Yeah, right. This is a textbook definition, okay? The Arabic word intifada translates to uprising or shaking off. It's been used to describe periods of intense Palestinian protest against Israel, mainly in the form of violent terrorism. The first intifada was from 1987 to 1990, and the second from 2000 to 2005. The first intifada was marked by a period of widespread Palestinian protest, civil disobedience, an act of violence and terrorism against Israelis. Your comment?
That's not the real definition. Where did you get that definition?
The phrase globalize the intifada, which Zorro refused to condemn, globalize the intifada calls for people around the globe to participate in rising up against Israel.
Oh, yeah, rising up against Israel, against their terrorist act.
Do you agree? So you agree that's what it means, rise up against Israel, so wipe out Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said yes. You said yes. All right. Wow.
No.
Now where's your accent? Where is your accent really from? This is not a Colorado accent.
Yeah, 100%, but it's not a Colorado accent.
Why don't you want to tell people? I haven't. No, it's not racist. It's not racist. I'm curious.
Look, it doesn't matter which accent.
Well, I find it interesting that you're not sharing. I have an American accent, right? I have an American accent.
No, it doesn't matter. We're talking about Israel right now.
Well, right? The reason. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it matters. Okay, when people call me, you're probably you're new to the show. You're new to the show. Are you new? Okay. Well, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. All of us, no matter who we are, our opinions on what we do on this program is discuss and debate issues that are in the news. Okay. And all of us, whatever position we have on these very important issues affecting my country and the world, our opinions are based on where we come from. That doesn't necessarily mean, I don't mean where we were born and raised, but our life experience is what forms our opinions on all these issues. I'm an American first MAGA guy who loves Donald Trump with a passion, okay? And I'm MAGA for life. And I'm an American. I'm a lifelong American. I'm proud of that. And my experience as an American in America is what's led me to my political beliefs. You, on the other hand, are telling us that globalize the intifada is a good thing. You have an accent, and you won't tell us where the accent's from. You tried to pass yourself off as a guy from Colorado.
It doesn't matter. The accent
it does.
Matter. Look, you're saying are you America first?
Yeah.
America first?
Yeah, then why do I support Israel? Is that the question?
But even your own conservative people are saying you guys are not aligning with the MAGA movement because you guys are too much focused on Israel, trying to send all the taxpayers' money there. But that's not all about. Like,
let me ask you: is globalize the intifada a good thing or a bad thing?
At the moment, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. What is your opinion on the Palestinians that attacked the music festival, raped and murdered the Israeli women, and took them back as prisoners and slaves, and still hold Israeli prisoners?
What is your evidence for that?
My evidence? They filmed themselves. So you're saying that didn't happen? They filmed themselves doing it.
It is verified by the United Nations that no rape has happened.
No rape has happened.
It is verified.
No rape.
Yeah, no rape has happened.
What about murders? Did they didn't rape any of those people? Did they murder them?
You guys believe.
Wow. Yeah. So that music festival attack didn't happen? Then what happened? They just what were they doing with the
You see, you're putting a word in my mouth.
Well, tell me what happened.
I didn't say the music festival attack didn't happen. It happened, but that was against the settlers that were fighting.
The settlers?
And also, idea soldiers.
Wait, hold on. Slow down a second. You're worried about settlers? How dare? Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. You're worried about. You call these. Slow down. You said. Excuse me. You said the Israelis are settlers. Well, what are you with your foreign accent in America? You're in the United. Are you a settler in the United States?
It doesn't matter. Where were you?
Well, are you if you're in this country? You call the Israelis settlers in Israel. You have a foreign accent. You're in the United States. Are you a settler?
Yes, sir. I'm not a settler.
You're not a settler. Why not? You're not. You're what?
Because I didn't occupy a country. I didn't.
Wait a minute. You're in the United States, right? You're in the United States with this accent. Sure, you're in the United States with a foreign accent. You're not American.
Yeah, you're not the same for everyone. United is for everyone. You're not an American either. You're going by.
No, I'm a Native American. I'm a Native American.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Absolutely. I was born in the United States. Excuse me. I'm not from Europe. I'm not from Europe. I was born in the United States of America. Excuse me. I was born in the United States of America, and that makes me a Native American.
No, it doesn't make you the Native American.
Well, Native means you were born there, right? I was born in America. I'm a Native American.
You're not migrated if you're talking
No, excuse me. Migration, no. I am a Native American. I was born in the United States of America. That makes me a Native American.
Only the Red Indians are the Native Americans.
Just like you are a native of whatever country this accent is from.
Yes.
That you're embarrassed to share, that you're ashamed to share.
I am American by citizenship.
No, but you are a native of whatever country this accent is from that you're embarrassed to tell us the nation.
No, I'm not embarrassed to tell you, but as much as you're embarrassed to tell me from which European country your parents are, your ancestors
My parents are also Native Americans. My parents are also Native American.
You diverted the Israeli case.
No, hey, listen, I got to run. Welcome to the show. Thank you for the call. My parents and grandparents are Native Americans as well. Holy smokes. Now, I want to tell you guys, coming up, you want to call this number I'm going to give you and reserve your spot because this is going to fill up. Come meet me Saturday, July 19th from 10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. at Attorney Barry Siegel's main office in Boca. It's on Military Trail. I'm going to give you the number. It's the Siegel Law Group's Medicaid seminar. They don't do these on Saturdays very often, and I don't remember the last time I did a personal appearance on a Saturday, on a weekend. Most of our personal appearances, as you guys know that have been to them, are during the week. I haven't done one on the weekend. I can't remember last, and I can't imagine doing one on the weekend coming up anytime in the future. So this is your chance. Come meet me at Attorney Barry Siegel's Medicaid seminar on Saturday, July 19th from 10 a.m. till 11:30. It's completely free, but do call. I'm going to give you the number and reserve your spot because there's limited space because this is at the Siegel Law Group's main office, and it will fill up. Here's the number. Toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Again, this is Saturday, July 19th at 10 a.m. in Boca. 855-FLA-3782. We'll see you there. Be back right after this. Oh, my goodness. And guys, don't forget about this deal. I don't know how long this deal is going to last. With our promo code Kane, with any purchase, no matter what you purchase for free, you get the With God, All Things Are Possible multi-use MyPillow 2.0. That's a $39.98 value that you get for free with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, Kane. That's a great deal. Very exclusive, too. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in about 90 seconds, a little less than that. If you're on hold, hang in there. Trump for life, that's right. That's right, Trump MAGA for life. Show's flying by today. Just over an hour left, almost 2 hours in. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. My name is Bill. I'm from Idaho.
Yes, here we go.
How are you?
All right.
How are you this evening?
It's this evening. What time is it in Idaho? It's 7:40.
Well, I guess it's very early in the morning here.
What time zone? What time zone is Idaho in? Mountain? Central?
It's like Western. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, Idaho. Yeah, you're Pacific time. So it's 4:48. That's the morning. 4:48 is the morning.
Yeah, I'm up early.
Well, you said evening.
Well, it's basically the evening. It's still
no,
dark
it's
out.
the morning. But anyway, what's on your mind, Idaho?
I'm feeling pedantic this evening. I see. Well, I've just been
This
listening to
morning.
your broadcast for a while. Yes. Anyways, I've been listening to your broadcast, and I think, I don't know, I just think some of your messaging is real bad.
My messaging is what?
I think about the new mayor of New York. I think it's real bad.
Mayor Adams is the mayor of New York.
You're right. You've caught me off guard here.
Okay, you're talking about Zohran. Tell me about Zorro.
Well, you've been talking about his refusal to condemn the
global
the
intifada.
right?
Yeah, he was on Meet the Press yesterday and refused to condemn the global intifada. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So he said that's not the type of language I use, and you're right. He didn't condemn it, but the reason he didn't condemn it is I feel like those questions are sort of designed to divide his base.
Divide his base. What he does. The reason he didn't. The reason he won't condemn it, okay, is because he doesn't want to lose his anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli Muslim base.
We are getting way ahead of ourselves. All right. I think that intifada is generally used. So first off, the intifada is obviously a series of events that happened in Israel and Palestine, describing the uprising of the Palestinian people against Israel, which a lot of crazy stuff happened there. Suicide bombings, many casualties.
Yeah, stabbings, all kinds of stuff, yes. So the days of the homicide vest and all of that, yeah. That was the intifada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so he won't condemn that. Like as an example, I condemn the use of the I condemn the use of the N-word. I don't use that word, but I condemn the use of it. Because I'm not in favor of using that ugly word. That phrase, global intifada, means rise up with violence and kill Jews and wipe out Israel. Why will he not condemn that terrorist phrase?
Well, I've been trying to answer that, and I'd love to. So I think that global intifada among at least pro-Palestinian protesters and activists in the U.S. generally just refers to rising up against Israel. And
that's right.
That's in a military way, but I don't think that's bad. And I don't think that's anti-Semitic either.
Really? The homicide vest, the terrorism, the music festival, rapes and murders, that's the global intifada, man.
No, that October 7th is obviously a travesty, but I think that...
obviously.
I think that,
not to the last caller. That's part of the intifada.
I know, right? No,
the October 7th music festival, murders and rapes and terrorist attacks, that's part of the global intifada.
Yeah, it is.
So why will he not condemn that?
Because it's kind of a gotcha question, right?
No, it's not a gotcha question. What about 9/11? Do you condemn 9/11?
Yeah, sure. I condemn 9/11.
What do you mean? Yeah, sure. I mean, you either do or you don't.
I do.
I mean, okay,
I guess it's sort of a disaffected view of
October 7th, the global intifada is like 9/11. It's like jihad.
Do you think if you asked Zohran Mamdani to condemn October 7th, you don't think he would?
Well, that's only maybe. I don't know.
No, because the reason for that is that global intifada doesn't just refer to like anti-Semitic crimes, right?
No, what good does it refer? Give me something good that it refers to.
The military uprising against the state of Israel.
Oh, okay. So rising up with violence and killing Jews. That's the good.
I think if it's going to prevent those. I think it's going to prevent the idea from killing 60,000 people. I think.
Well, you're this is crazy. You're an American, right? You're not? Hello?
I am. Yeah, I am an American.
Yeah, college educated?
Yeah, no, I'm in college.
Oh, there you go. Another college boy.
Okay.
Learning anti-Semitism, yes.
Well, I can't help my age.
Well, because at your age, your mind, how old are you?
Hello?
Yeah, how old are you?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, okay, now he can't hear me. Give me a break. He doesn't know that it's morning. He thinks it's night. Now all of a sudden, hello, I can't hear you. Oh, my goodness. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is John from D.C.
Yes, John.
Hey, so I just got to say the.
By the way, D.C. is that where is that? What you're John from D.C. What is that? The Department of Corrections? Where are you calling me from?
Yeah, Washington D.C.
Oh, okay,
Washington,
okay, the
DC.
District of Columbia. You said D.C. You didn't say Washington. I thought you might have been calling me from jail, the Department of Corrections. Okay.
Well, down here we just say D.C. because everybody just knows. So my bad.
Okay, what's on your mind, D.C.?
So I just want to say the new mayor, what's really wrong with him? Like, what's your opinion on him? Because from what I'm hearing, only negative thoughts.
Yeah. Well, he's not the mayor. He's Zorro is not the mayor. He said that he's running for mayor. He said that he said his ultimate goal is to seize the means of production. Seize the means of production. That's communism. That's what they did in Russia when they had the revolution.
But look, everything I've seen though, he's been making a difference.
Oh, really? What difference has he made? What difference has he made? What did he change?
He's not supporting foreign nation.
He's a foreigner. What do you mean he's not supporting foreign nation? He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
New York. He's trying to focus on New York.
Excuse me. He said that as mayor, Zorro said that it will be a sanctuary city from people from other countries to come. So he's focusing on foreigners that are coming to the country illegally. That's not focusing on New Yorkers. That's supporting
he's a foreigner
foreigners.
himself. He's a foreigner himself.
Yeah. So how is he supporting? How is he not supporting other countries when he's telling foreigners to illegally come to America and they'll find sanctuary in New York?
He's not telling foreigners to come.
He said that New York City. He said New York City will be a.
Do you have an issue? Quick question. Do you have an issue with somebody doing it the right way, coming to this great country the right way? Do you have a problem with that?
The First Lady, Melania Trump, is a legal immigrant.
You didn't answer my question.
So that's yes.
So my question to you, do you have a problem with that? People doing it the right way?
But that's not who he's talking to. When he says sanctuary city, that means he's going to give sanctuary to illegals.
You're dodging the question, sir.
No, I'm not. I answered the question. I answered the question.
No, you didn't.
Of course, I support legal.
You said something about Melania.
Yeah, she's a legal. See, you just as a liberal.
She's the first lady right now,
but
right?
she is
because she's.
No.
Right.
She is she's legal immigrant.
She was at one point. She was an immigrant.
But legal. She did it legally.
She's the first lady.
She did it legally.
He is too.
He's telling illegals. He's telling illegals he'll hide them in New York from the feds.
Who said that? He didn't say
Zorro.
that.
He said it on Meet the Press. He said New York will be a sanctuary city under his rule.
Do you agree with the way ICE handles human beings? By the way,
yes.
There's a way to do things, bro. There's a way to do things.
I support ICE. I support ICE. Yes.
You do not. Did you see those ICE agents getting beat down by some Haitians?
Well, that's
the result of what's going to happen with more officers. Those you want more violence.
Those Haitians broke the law. They attacked federal agents. You support that?
Exactly. I agree with you with that. But
I support ICE.
To do it. You don't scare people. You do not scare people in America, the land of
you want ICE to be nice. Okay, so hold on a second. So you want ICE to ask in Spanish or Creole to leave America, pretty please? You want them to say, pretty please, will you leave America? Listen, I got to run for a break. Oh my God, pretty please. Will you please leave? Pretty please. We want to be nice, ICE. Now, listen, I want to tell you about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Oh, man, this is a great deal. You can get a free doorbell camera from Sloman's that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. That's a good deal, isn't it? Absolutely. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. Here's the number. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. 650. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Call us on hold. You hang in there. We'll go back to the phones when we get back from the break. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Frank from West Palm. How you doing here?
All right,
Brian,
Frank.
you were absolutely correct. LaPorta Roofing was amazingly phenomenal. They just completed my roof last week, and LaPorta Roofing was superb in all ways imaginable when installing the new roof on my residence. Tom LaPorta meticulously spearheaded the entire project from inception through to the finalization of the assignment. Tom handled all the paperwork involving city permits, inspectors, and my community HOA. He was always available, ensuring me that he had my back in all phases of the project. Additionally, Tom, Scott, and Dan, and the entire crew were very well organized with the plan, consistent with all policies and procedures, and craftsmanship was exemplary in all stages of the design execution. Tom, Scott, and Dan maintained continual contact with me, the homeowner, asking if there were any questions I had or anything further I needed. LaPorta Roofing is, in every respect, a stellar, 5-star, AAA, family-owned company that is a reliable, peace-of-mind roofing organization. These guys are spot on with regards to perfection, and they demand it. I remain mesmerized upon the completion of the job. My roof is a masterpiece. And one last thing before I forget, they were the least expensive quote that I received out of 4 quotes for roofing. I thank Tom LaPorta Roofing for all that they do.
Wow, Frank. Well, thanks so much. Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Roofing. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He works with every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, and he works with every type of roofing material. Also, don't forget, Tom LaPorta will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. He can also handle the job of any size, whether it's a single-family home or an HOA with over 200 units. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom LaPorta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com. All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds, guys. We're back. The third hour is here already. Holy smokes, the show is flying by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
You know, I think we've got, Rocky Mountain High and Renee and the last few callers and the Democrats, as well. They all have a serious problem, and that is that they are fighting against reality. And their low information, easy to fool voter base is starting to wake up en masse. All right, and I'm going to start calling this guy. I'm going to start calling him Zero, because that's a percentage of chance that he has to win the mayor race up there. It's just this weekend. Well, you know what? Renee did say the H was silent, and I think he was right, because if you drop that H, you've got Zoe, and he definitely ran off a cliff this weekend in that interview. I mean, I feel so much better. When this first happened, I just had visions of, I had visions of London.
This is a very interesting. This is very important. The reason that Zorro is in so much trouble is because the Democrats have taken him down. Meet the Press. That host, Kristen Welker, is one of Obama's top media people. So this narrative that's going around that he has the support of Obama, I think we can put that's not true. Kristen Welker would not go against Obama like this. She does Obama's bidding.
Yeah, she's a propaganda specialist for Obama.
Yeah,
and even if he did, I just look at the numbers. 9% turnout.
Yeah.
Of that 9% turnout, he got like 43%, and nobody knows the guy. People are starting to get to know him. It's not going to work out for him. It's just not. It's going to be fun to watch, but he's not going to.
Well, but we can't be confident with that. He's got to be exposed. This is this is the first time I've seen a nonpartisan event like this in a long time, because Republicans and Democrats both want him out. Hey, I appreciate the call. Let me play this clip. I played this in the first hour. This is Zohran himself. This is a video that he put online. Okay, and what's exposing this guy isn't a commentator or anything. It's his own words.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And
there you go. How is that a Democrat?
We have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production.
Seizing the means of production. That is Communist 101, okay? Seizing the means of production. Of course, for the common good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Will from Ohio.
Yes, Will. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
I'm very confused about why you're all so scared of Zohran. I don't know what's so scary about him. What policies exactly are you afraid of?
What policies? Well, one of his policies, he said that he wants to raise taxes on white people. That's one. That's illegal and racist. So I'm not very happy to have a racist as the mayor of New York City. That's one. What are your thoughts?
I don't know one time in his campaign when he said that.
It's written on his website. His campaign website says, and this was brought up on Meet the Press yesterday, his campaign website says that he wants to raise taxes on those living in whiter neighborhoods, on white people. Okay? Here's another one.
Okay.
I just played a clip a moment ago. It was a video that he posted online who said that his ultimate goal is to seize the means of production. That's communism. So that's a second one.
Seize the means of production mean?
It means communist revolution. Take over the factories. Seize the means of production.
All I know about Zohran is that he wants to raise taxes on those that make $1 million a year.
No,
by 2%.
No, that's not all. That first off, that's not all he wants to. Another thing he wants to do is he wants to make the grocery stores government grocery stores.
3 seconds.
He wants to make the
He wants to open a pilot program. He wants to open a pilot program where the government has a grocery store in each of the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
Because do you know what food deserts are?
Tell me. Where's a food desert in New York? There's no food desert in New York City. A food desert is a liberal. Let me tell the audience, a food desert is this fantasy that liberals came up with during the Obama years that people live too far away from grocery stores. In New York City, there's a store every 10 feet that has food in it.
No, there's a bodega every 10 feet.
Don't they have food in bodegas?
It has snacks. It doesn't have fresh
fruit.
It doesn't have
fresh fruit. So you mean to tell me all these people want to eat fresh fruit and vegetables? Give me a break.
Yes.
When you're talking about, excuse me.
Wait.
No, you wait. When Zohran is talking about seizing the means of production, raising taxes on white people, he said on Meet the Press yesterday we shouldn't have billionaires. That's communism 101. We shouldn't have billionaires, he said on Meet the Press yesterday. Your thoughts?
I don't care. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not going to pretend.
Oh, because you're not a billionaire, you think those who aren't should be wiped out of existence? He says we shouldn't have them.
He said you're fear-mongering. You're really afraid of this guy.
This is what he said.
You're genuinely scared.
No, I'm not scared. I'm scared that New York City would become London.
Provide free buses in New York City.
Free buses?
Yes, he wants.
Nothing's free, bud. How do you give free stuff to people?
I'm telling you, but you keep going hysterical.
What do you mean free buses?
He's going to. I'll tell you. He wants to increase the taxes, the income taxes on people that make $1 million a year or more.
Yeah.
By 2%. And then he wants to raise the corporate tax rate to match the regional
now slow down.
Tax rate.
Do you understand? See, you probably don't make enough. Do you live in New York?
No, I live in Ohio.
Okay, you live in Ohio. Well, in New York City, you have if you are in New York City, right, and you're a millionaire, you pay federal income tax and you pay state income tax and you also pay city income tax. People that make over $1 million a year are paying a boatload of money every year in these taxes. So he wants to seize more of their money?
Why? Yes, by 2%.
That's a lot of money.
2%.
Who's Zohran to take 2% away? Yeah, because you don't pay taxes.
Yes, I do pay taxes.
Really? How much do you make a year?
I 100%.
How much do you make a year?
$95,000.
$95,000 a year. So how much did you pay this last year in taxes? How much did you send the IRS?
Roughly 20-something thousand around
You
there.
sent them $20,000 out of a $90,000? The IRS? Come on. All right, I appreciate the call. I mean, now he's just lying. He paid $20,000 in federal income taxes on $90,000 salary. Give me a break. Just making stuff up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your name? You're on the air.
Oh, this is Sean. Sean Margate.
Yes, Sean and Margate.
You say, yeah, Sean. I say,
all right,
You say your parents were biological. Your parents were born Native American.
My parents were born in the United States of America. My grandparents were born in the United States of America, and I was born in the United States of America. We are all Native Americans. Yes.
Yeah. Your biological parents were Jewish.
Nope. My parents are not Jews.
Your biological parents were Jewish because
Nope.
you were circumcised.
Nope, my parents are not Jews. How do you know I'm circumcised? Have you seen me naked?
You said that the other day.
Oh, I told a caller I was circumcised. So you mean to tell me that anyone who is circumcised is a Jew? If you're circumcised, you're a Jew?
You look like baby Herman.
I look like a Jew? Oh, my goodness. I look like a Jew?
Yes.
Do you hear yourself?
Your boss is Jewish. Your boss is Jewish. He made you.
Yeah, Steve Kane is a Jew. Yes. Is there something wrong with being a Jew? I'm confused. Steve Kane's a Jew. So what? Is there something wrong with that?
Why do you deny it?
Deny what?
Nothing wrong with me.
Why
do you deny me?
I'm not a Jew. I am not a Jew.
You are a Jew.
I am not.
You say people are.
I'm not. But by the way, if I was, so what? What does that mean? Why are you accusing me of being a Jew?
What?
What's so wrong with being a Jew? I'm curious.
Why do you deny it?
Well, it's not that I'm just not. Steve Kane's a Jew.
You said accuse you of being a Jew.
Not everyone who's circumcised is a Jew. Most men in America are circumcised. It has not, Yeah, it's true. Not all, but most are, yes. All right, appreciate the call. That guy's calling from Margate? Oh, my goodness. Now, listen, it's a very important question I'm about to ask you. Do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? If you do, or you know someone who does, listen up. I want to tell you guys about Lighthouse Medical Center. You know, Steve had every neuropathy symptom in the book. And he was basically homebound and bedbound. And we found Lighthouse Medical 3 years ago this month. He went to Lighthouse Medical for his treatment for neuropathy. 3 years later, not only did they rid him of his neuropathy symptoms, but 3 years later, the symptoms have not returned. Lighthouse Medical in Pompano has a treatment for neuropathy that works, and a treatment for neuropathy that lasts. Steve Kane, our test patient here, 3 years, and his neuropathy symptoms have not returned. Give them a call. They can help you no matter where you're located. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. Now, guys, if you're 65 or turning 65 soon or over 65, give Chapter a call. No matter which one of the 50 states you're in, they can help you with your Medicare. It is completely free. You'll get a live person who will answer all your questions, okay? Make sure you're not paying too much for a Medicare supplement. You know, you could save thousands of dollars a year with Chapter. You know, Medicare is a very confusing thing, and you know, you get on the phone, you call, you look online, you get more confused. With Chapter, you're going to get a live person. They're going to answer all your questions, and they can help you no matter where you're located in the United States, okay? That's right. And they have access to all the over 24,000 Medicare policies out there. So find one for you that's right for you, that covers your doctors, that covers your medications, that covers your pharmacy, and, of course, that fits your budget. All right, give them a call. The number is in the description of the video. If you miss it, it's 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number is on your screen, and it's also in the description of the video. If you don't see it on the screen, give them a call, and they'll completely free. They'll look over your Medicare for you and find you the best deal and the best coverage. We'll be back shortly, guys. A little more than 30 seconds, we'll be back. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Very strange calls on the phones today, but we'll go back to the calls. We've covered a lot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Nathan from Boca. Can you hear me, Brian?
Speak up a little bit, Nathan.
Can you hear me now?
And perfectly. Crystal clear. Yep.
So you know, were you born and raised in Florida?
No. I moved here when I was about 10 or 11. Been coming here since I was 5 every summer, since 76.
So, okay.
You trying to...
So why am I hearing... Because, you know, the South... I would say South Florida is quite kind of a small area. All these old families kind of get to know each other.
No, they don't. South Florida is highly populated with mostly new people.
Well, sure. Yeah, but how come it is that my grandparents went to synagogue with your grandparents, and you're hiding behind the fact that
that is
Jewish?
so
Why
not
won't you
true.
admit this?
That is so not true. My.
And it totally is true.
Nope.
So you've never been to synagogue?
Never.
Your grandparents have never been to synagogue before?
Nope.
So, okay. What church did you go to? You say you're Catholic. You were born and raised Catholic.
No, I was not born or raised Catholic. My wife and I converted to Catholicism about 15 years ago. You know, why don't you just tell the truth? You're the guy trying to dox me. You're trying to get personal info so you can try to track me down. Do me a favor. Lose my number.
I don't.
Okay? Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. That was entertaining with the synagogue thing.
Yeah.
So real quick, I wrote a little something. I just want to read it off, hopefully uninterrupted. You know, initially I really enjoyed your program, but lately I feel like this isn't what I wrote here, but I feel like you cut callers off that you disagree with, and it's kind of unfair. But here's what I wrote. Each time I call in and try to share my perspective or fact about my life, you cut me off before I can finish. You've called me a liar, despite the fact that I was speaking the truth.
When did we talk? Earlier today? I don't remember. I don't recognize the voice.
No, sir. I told you about that I'm a Trump supporter, yet I do have an illegal girlfriend.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember talking to you. Okay, now slow down a second here. Slow down a second. I have to end, you know, listen, I'm up against a very tight schedule here, okay? I end calls for a couple of reasons. Sometimes it's because we're up against a break. Sometimes the caller's not in. Not only do I have a break schedule, when I go to the phones, I'm not handing over host duties to rank amateurs out there in the listening audience and say the show's yours, here's the mic. So, you know, I've got to also have quality control on the program as well. So I don't run away from call. If I was running away from callers because they disagreed with me, I wouldn't have screenless calls. I would have somebody answer the phones and only put callers up that agree with me. We are the only program at this level that does not have a call screener. So no. Yeah, so don't say that I'm afraid. If we didn't want disagreement, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But afterwards, then you've called me a cosplay caller, which, you know, it's like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Is he being serious?
Well, what kind of MAGA guy is hiding a fugitive from federal agents? If you have a girlfriend, if you're MAGA and you have a girlfriend who's an illegal that you're hiding from federal agents, which is what you're doing, she's a wanted woman, don't you see the conflict in being MAGA and doing that?
Well, you're a Christian. What would God do, right? What would Jesus do? I mean, love came first.
Render
right?
under Caesar what is
first.
Caesar's, I guess, is what he would do. I don't know. Either of us don't know what Jesus would do, but I do know this: that if I know someone who's a federal fugitive, I'm not going to harbor a federal fugitive. You are. So don't you see how one cancels out being MAGA?
Well, you know, I'm between a rock and a hard place. We've got a child. You know, another month from now, our baby's going to be born. So, you know, do I abandon, you know, my wife, my girlfriend?
Girlfriend? I mean, which is it? Girl? You said girlfriend, then you said wife. Now you're saying girlfriend. See, I think you're full of it, and I'll tell you why I think you're full of it. You know, if you were this honorable man who has this undocumented illegal with your child, if you were really a MAGA conservative honorable guy like you claim to be, you'd marry her, which you could do. And you keep switching between wife and girlfriend, which shows you can't remember your stories. So I'm calling BS on the whole thing.
No, well, I call her my wife. We're not legally
married.
No.
Nobody calls their girlfriend their wife. They call them their girlfriend, their fiance. You're just trying to backtrack because you got busted. You called her your girlfriend on the last calls. You called her your girlfriend at the beginning of this one, and then you said my wife, and then you said my girlfriend. Come on, you know what? You're a fake MAGA guy who's trying to act like a MAGA guy and a hypocrite.
That's not true. That's not true at all. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm being mischaracterized, and that's very unfair.
You said, you're okay.
I'm my domestic partner. I'll call her domestic partner. I would like to call her my wife, you know, but we can't get married.
You could marry her. You could marry her.
No, God forbid I go to the courthouse. Then they know our address.
You could go to one of those sanctuary states like California and marry her. You know, this is new. Since you know, how long have you been together? You got a kid. You were together before Trump's return to office, and you didn't marry her. Is this what you tell her?
Yes, I know.
Is this what you tell her so you don't have to marry her? Listen, I got to run for a break, but I appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You know, are you risking your retirement in the stock market? You don't have to do that. There's a no-risk way to invest your money in retirement, and that's, of course, with Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities. You know, when you put your money into an annuity, not only are you not risking your money with the ups and downs of the stock market, but you're also guaranteed income for the rest of your life. Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you are located, all right? And when I say located, no matter where you're located in the United States, take advantage of that. And he'll put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation, okay? Your goals, your income level. And don't forget to ask him about that 10% bonus on your money on day one, like Bruce, one of our local listeners, got. Give him a call right now and set up that free, no-charge phone consultation with Jupiter Joe Thomas. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back.
Purposes about this entire project is
We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? Oh, man. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. And, guys, don't forget this incredible deal on the MyPillow. Mike Lindell, this is a very exclusive offer, okay? People, you know, a lot of people promote MyPillow, okay? Only one other outlet has this special other than us. And I talked to Mike Lindell's office on Friday, and they offered this to us, okay? With our promo code Kane, with any purchase, for free, with any purchase, you get the With God All Things Are Possible multi-use MyPillow 2.0. That's a $39.98 value. You're getting it for free with any purchase with our promo code Kane at checkout. And that MyPillow 2.0 is the one that's got that temperature regulating technology that keeps you cool and comfortable all night long. So this is a great deal, and you see that cover with the Bible verse that you get. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. This is a great deal. It's a very exclusive special. Take advantage of it. Okay, back in 30 seconds, guys. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Call us on hold, stand by. So Zohran here, his campaign is over. I mean, it's over. Now, this clip, I played this earlier in the show. I'm going to play it again. Now, a couple of things. He did this interview on Meet the Press. I played the highlights of, which is totally devastating. I mean, the things that he said in that interview alone would run him out of the race. But this is a video that he uploaded wearing some funny clothes. I don't know what he's wearing in this video, but you know, what's doing him in are people getting to know who he is. And if you notice, everything that I've been playing today is Zorro in his own words. So here he is, the man who won the primary because nobody knew who he was. Listen.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem, because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
Okay, now notice, no democratic socialism to try to water it down. We need to elect more socialists, divest and isolate Israel, seize the means of production, which is violence, right out of the communist revolution, no cash bail, and legalize sex workers' prostitution. Now, some of that liberals will proudly talk. Yeah, more socialist, anti-Israel, but sees the means of production. He's done. His candidacy is over. All right, to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
Hi there. So it's been discovered that AOC is not from the Bronx, but she's from Yorktown Heights.
Yes, that's old news. I know. Everybody knows this. That's not. I know that the yearbook photos circulating around, but that's not a new story. That's been going around for years.
Oh, really?
No, that's been going around for years.
Oh,
It just
okay.
got a resurgence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so anyways, for all those AOC lovers, you know, she's a big liar.
Yeah, I know. All right, appreciate the call. Breaking news. AOC is a liar. She's gained a lot of weight. I saw her in that parade with Zorro. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you today?
Hi.
Well, let's take Zohran is nothing more than the 2025 face of not socialism but communism.
Yep.
Let's take one of his plans that he wants to bring into New York City. He wants to defund the NYPD, and he wants to replace them with social workers. Let's say Zohran was the current mayor in Los Angeles. Does he think a bunch of social workers are going to regain the streets of what we saw going on in Los Angeles with a bunch of social workers? This guy is totally devoid of reality, and people have to understand that. I think if you ask the people who live in L.A., San Francisco, or London how happy they are with their current governments, I don't think they'd be happy at all. And if you want to see people really get fed up, have them shop at a government-owned grocery store for a month and see how happy they were.
When
and
he
how quickly
says,
they like to go to the current thing.
when Zohran says he wants to seize the means of production, what is he? I mean, that, obviously that's the communist revolution. But what is? But that's done through violence. You are violently taking people's property away from them. And, you know, listen, you know, in the modern era of 2025, for all I know, that's the news outlets that are based out of New York because they send in, or Wall Street. I don't know what the means of production are to him.
Well, ones that he controls and one that his Communist Party controls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
However they can get it. And this guy, thank God they've taken the phoniness of this guy. He's a TikTok guy, and I give him credit. He's good on the media and that, but this guy is an out-and-out communist.
Yeah, is he
He
good?
will destroy
You know,
New York
is he?
City just like they destroyed every other city.
You see, is he good?
And
He's good when he's, you know, listen, here's what's happened. Everything that I've shared today I haven't even played the clip of President Trump saying he's a communist, if you notice, right? The only clips I've played are Zohran in his own words. So he's good with the media when he's talking to a small audience of people that agree with him. When people out of his little tiny circle of communists and jihadis aren't the audience, he's not really that good with the media. You know, what he did on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker was devastating. He wouldn't condemn the global intifada. He wouldn't walk back taxing white people at a higher rate than non-white people.
Right.
You know, I mean, so no, my original thought was he is good with the media, but now here we are, almost a week later, and I'm gonna retract what I said earlier. He's a disaster.
Well, is this the quickest crash? Is this the quickest crash we've seen in recent years in a political campaign?
By a Democrat who was taken down by Democrats.
Yes, and he's doing it, and they're doing it in his own words. Which is wonderful to see.
Yeah.
But this guy, anybody take his plans and apply them to Los Angeles now, and see what a disaster that would be. His plans in action would destroy a city in no time, and we can't have that with one of our key cities in New York City.
Absolutely.
I mean, one of the heart and souls of this country.
Absolutely.
So, the sooner this guy disappears, the better.
Mm-hmm.
The better.
Well, his candidacy is over with what's happened over the weekend. That doesn't mean he's going to drop out tomorrow, but he's no longer a viable candidate.
Well, then he's also saying that the money's coming. It's a populist election and a groundswell of people donating to it. No, it's coming from the big political machine.
I'm waiting for Bill Clinton to withdraw his endorsement. That would be a big. He endorsed him just knee-jerk because he's a Democrat. And in light of everything that's coming on, that's one that I'm really waiting for. If President Clinton withdraws, you know, and I'm going to tell you, As crazy as this sounds, I would rather see Hillary Clinton as mayor of New York than Zohran.
Yeah, it's a it's a stretch, but that's how bad this guy's platform is.
She'd be mediocre. All she would do is go around and say, "I'm the first woman mayor." She would do nothing.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do anything other than say that all day. I'm not saying that I want Hillary to be mayor. I'm talking about over this guy.
But I think this guy would try to bring his platform in. Can't have that. This is the United States of America. This isn't Russia or communist Cuba. And
Indeed.
people, just once they're educated to this guy and listen to him in his own words, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's done.
That's
but
right.
we need a significant blowout on this race that this is put aside,
Yeah.
But
then, the problem we have now is Cuomo's in as an independent. Mayor Adams is in as an independent. And I know I'm hearing from a lot of people who say, why aren't you supporting Curtis Sliwa? He's the MAGA Republican. Because he's not a viable candidate. Okay? Okay,
Right.
he's viewed as a clown and he's a narcissist. Okay? Or he would get behind doing the right thing. President Trump has to intervene. President Trump has to intervene and get either Adams or Cuomo to drop out because they're going to split our vote, and that could help Zohran here. So he could offer he could offer one of them a job.
I think some news show last night. I think one of the leading radio hosts in New York City is backing Curtis Sliwa. Where's that going to go?
That's so that everybody listens to that guy, whoever that is. It's
Yeah.
going nowhere.
Yeah.
Listen.
No.
I have no disrespect to Curtis Sliwa. I mean, I respect who he is and what he stands for, and I'm sure I agree with him on every single thing. However, is he electable in a citywide race in New York? I don't think so. So, you don't want to get behind a loser and say, well, I supported the MAGA guy, and then Zohran walks into being the mayor of New York City. That's crazy.
Oh, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. We cannot have that. We can't have that. No, it'd be a disaster.
It would.
People learn from what's going on in L.A. with this wacko as mayor there. The mayor can do a tremendous amount of damage, and this guy would.
All right, appreciate the call. Got to run now. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell you about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I was talking about this earlier in the show. Saturday afternoon, I went to Alligator Alcatraz, and I left my house at 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's a hot summer day here in Florida. I was at Alligator Alcatraz during the hottest time of the day. And I didn't realize this until later. But the heat didn't get to me. And usually it does. And I've realized since I've lost over 35 pounds, the heat is not affecting me in the negative way it used to. There's so many benefits to losing weight. I mean, I've got more energy. I've cut my coffee back. And this heat that usually just is overwhelming me. I go out in the heat like that normally. I feel like I'm going to have a heat stroke just standing out there in the sun. And I'm out there in the middle of the Everglades at Alligator Alcatraz, and the heat didn't faze me at all. And the only thing that's changed is I've lost all this weight. Listen, Coastal Weight Loss Secret has a 4th of July special that's in effect right now. It expires July 7th, guys, so you don't want to waste time. You want to take advantage of this, and here's what it is. 20% off for new patients. Got that? 20% off for new patients. Give them a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And remember, no matter where you're located, they can help you. Okay, telehealth's available no matter where you are in the United States. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.com. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. Hey, it's Brian. Hey, listen, I'm gonna put you on hold. It's gonna be a few minutes, but I can't call you past this time, okay? So it'll probably be close to the end of the hour. Okay, hold on. William, stand by.
Okay.
Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca Raton with the first look at gold and the other precious metals markets for this new 4th of July week. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting off this week?
Metals are starting off on the upside right now after last week's losses, giving us great buying opportunities last week. Gold last Friday traded in a range of $3,254 all the way up to $3,330 and closed down $53.70 on the day at $3,272.80 the ounce. Silver was down 65 cents at $35.92. Platinum was down $79 after its huge run over the last couple of weeks at $1,340. Palladium was down $1, closing out the week at $11.32. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $32.46 on the low up to $32.97. And right now we're at $32.87 on gold. That's up $14.20. Silver's up 8 cents at $36 the ounce. Platinum gaining $15 right now at $1,355, and palladium up $8 at $1,140. So the markets are certainly bouncing off last week's lows, and giving still a good buying opportunity, though.
Yeah, and other than Friday, which is July 4th, it's normal hours this week?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, guys. So opening up at 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday, closed on Friday for the 4th of July. Give William Youngerman a call, and remember, you can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail, no matter where you're located, not just in America, but the world. 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of that Bank of America building. And when you enter the building, William Youngerman is right across the lobby from the bank. You can't miss it. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Take care. All right, back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, BT. How you doing?
DT.
Listen.
Okay.
Yeah, BT. I had a quick question earlier. You said that it has to do with Native Americans. Actually, Native Americans are Indian.
No.
No.
To be a native, you have to be born somewhere. I was born in the United States of America. That makes me a native of America.
Okay. Born in America, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Native American. Yesterday when on Saturday when I went to Alligator Alcatraz, okay, and all of you guys go and watch my documentary on Alligator Alcatraz on my YouTube channel. I drove through an Indian reservation, and there was a sign, and you hear me talk about this, and it said, "This area is patrolled by the Miccosukee Indian Tribe Police." They didn't say Native American, they said Indian. They call themselves Indians, the Miccosukee. Same with the Seminoles. It's the Seminole Indian Hard Rocking Casino, not the Seminole Native American Hard Rocking Casino. So where were you born?
I was born in Miami.
Then you're a Native American and a Native Floridian. How about that?
I looked it up in on the dictionary.
Written by liberals, written by liberal academics. What makes look up native, and what makes someone a native?
Okay. Oh, the other thing was, you could have visited Chokoloski out there.
I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Okay, no, Chokoloski is out there in Collier County.
Okay.
You missed that one.
Oh, you watched my video. You watched my video.
No, yeah. The most important thing was you forgot about the mosquitoes.
What about the mosquitoes?
Well, they're out there too. In the
That's
Everglades.
true. That's true. That's true.
And the wild boars.
That's true. Yeah, the wild boars. Yeah, when I was a kid, many times I went hunting for wild boars. It's crazy. The Everglades are filled with wild boars, and they have tusks. They'll kill you.
Of course they will.
All right, I appreciate the call, man. Anyway. Take care. All right, we're doing well here. We're doing well. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, let's go. Is this Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot?
It is.
All righty. I've got so many callers on hold, I've lost track of who's who. I got Ian on the line here because our 10th anniversary MAGA cruise is coming up in March, and I wanted to, those of you that have not joined us on our MAGA cruises, this is one you won't want to miss. And those of you that are already booked, you're going to have such a great time because Ian and I are planning some new ways to have fun that we've never done before on this cruise. Ian, can you tell people where we're going and the great deals we got?
Okay, so this year we've added a new destination to our list of destinations in the Southern Caribbean. We're going to Antigua, we're going to the British Virgin Islands, and we're going to the Bahamas.
Awesome. I've never been to Antigua. That's supposed to be like one of the nicest islands in the Caribbean.
It really is. It's this really high-end island. It's pretty. There's a lot of five-star resorts there. We've already got an amazing shore excursion booked, and it's going to be an amazing time.
Let's talk about this just for a moment. And when we go to Antigua, we're doing our famous, which become a tradition, our catamaran trip around the island. But this one's special. It's on a very high-end boat, and we're having a special meal. Can you tell people about that?
Yeah, this is going to be, we're going to be on a luxury catamaran with a lobster lunch, and it's going to take us for an extensive tour of the island.
Yeah, it's going to knock your socks off.
This is rated one of the top shore excursions in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And it's very exclusive, so, it's a limited number of space. The shore excursion's actually available for booking already.
Yeah, and, so if you're already booked on the cruise but not the shore excursion, get in touch with Ian today and book on that excursion. And I want to tell you, and Ian will vouch for me on this, okay? And those of you that come on our MAGA cruises, we have this great family of MAGA cruises. This will be our 10th year. We leave in March on the Celebrity Beyond, and it's our 10th year we've been doing this. And we've built up a family of friends, and some of the best friends I have in the world are people that have come on our MAGA cruises, and I'm even getting together on the 4th of July with some of our cruisers at a party at one of their homes. So, you really do make meet and make great friends on these MAGA cruises. Now, we're going on the Celebrity Beyond?
We're going on the Celebrity Beyond. I still have group rates available. These are amazing rates that we locked 18 months ago. When they're gone, they're gone. And the pricing is unbelievable. They come with drinks and Wi-Fi. And you want to take advantage before they're gone because I can't get more.
Yeah, so listen, I'm going to give you Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot. Give him a call. Again, if you're already booked, call him and get booked on that excursion because the excursion has very limited seating, okay? This excursion will fill up. You don't want to miss the luxury catamaran and lobster lunch in Antigua. And if you've never joined us, call, and Ian will give you the prices over the phone. The price varies so much on cabins and such. He'll give you the price over the phone. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. All right, Ian, take care. We'll talk soon.
Yep, see ya.
All right, take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thanks for taking my call. My name is Tim. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Hey, what's up?
So I just, the mayor, or the gentleman running for the mayor in New York.
Yep.
Great job. Keep pointing out what he's saying. You know, the indoctrination of our kids, and he's one of these that came through our education system. Shame on us. You know, since both parents have to go out and work, we farm our kids off to
Well,
people
now he's
that do not care at all.
You know what his dad does, right? You know what his dad does, Zohran?
Yeah.
He's a professor at Columbia University. He's a professor at Columbia University, which is ground zero for all these jihadi recruiters.
Yeah. Well, this is a godsend, I think. It's like them going after Trump with the lawsuits, trying to kill him, has got him elected. This is such a great opportunity to put a wet blanket on this socialism stuff that they're teaching our kids.
Well, and you know, and this thing with Zorro,
keep doing it.
You know, this thing with Zorro here in New York. Notice it's the Democrats that are exposing him, and which is amazing. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. We're running short on time, so I got to be a little quick. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. Now, the rest of you on hold, stand by. Just want to say a couple things. You know, this show, by the way, great calls today, and appreciate everyone who's called in and participated today. If you notice on this show with Zohran out of New York, I have only played audio sound bites of him. And I got tons of material and tons of show prep that I didn't get to. Okay? And, you know, it's in his own words. The Meet the Press interview, and then this video where he wants to legalize prostitution, calls himself a socialist, not a Democrat socialist, but he says our end goal of seizing the means of production, which is the Communist Revolution 101. That's like the first line in the Communist Revolution handbook, okay? Seize the means of production. For the people, for the common good, of course. And, you know, it doesn't mean that he's dropping out today, tomorrow, or even the next day. But what the last caller said, you know, wokeism's over in this country. It really, truly is. Now, there's one other thing I want to comment on before we end, because I haven't got a chance to get to this. The big, beautiful bill, okay? Now, the big, beautiful bill, it's passed the Senate. Now they're doing that reconciliation thing, and whatever Trump finally signs, you know, when this bill is signed into law by the president, be prepared for this, okay? You're going to have people say this is not what he campaigned on. This is what he campaigned on, okay? It may not be verbatim, but you understand how President Trump operates. Haven't you guys read The Art of the Deal? If you haven't, read it. If you read it years ago, get it and read it again, okay? President Trump always asks for a lot more than he wants. So when he makes concessions, people don't realize that he's still getting more than he wants. He just asks for a lot more than he wants. All right? And so far as getting everything to the letter that we've talked about during the campaign, you've got to go through 435 members of the House, 100 members of the Senate, plus all the special interest and the donors and the lobbyists and their wives and their husbands and their friends barking in their ear. To get word for word what we want is impossible. And if that is your standard for victory, you're going to be a loser for the rest of your life. Now, we're out of time for today. Those of you on hold, hang in there. If you stay on the line, you'll be first tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., all right? And I do want to remind you all that I have an appearance coming up Saturday, July 19th from 10 till 11:30 a.m. I'll be at Attorney Barry Siegel's office for his Medicaid seminar. You are all invited. I've not done a weekend appearance in a long time, and I doubt I'll have one maybe ever again. And I'm doing this on a Saturday because a lot of you guys work during the week. Call the Siegel Law Group. It's Saturday, July 10th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. It's free, but reserve your spot, and I'll see you there. All right, see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right? All right, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.